The Kremlin knows exactly which topics are considered untouchable, and it weaponizes them to harm Ukraine. These videos dive straight into those topics. Yes, they're controversial, but as long as we, stuck in our American left-right divide, shy away from addressing these issues, the global elites, including the Kremlin, will continue to control the narrative. Burisma is Russian.
Good morning, America, how are you?
Burisma isn't Ukrainian, it's Russian. Its CEO opposed Ukraine's Maidan revolution, benefited from Putin's annexation of Crimea, and paid millions to Hunter Biden, while his father blocked Ukraine from winning. In 2014, Burisma's CEO served in the pro-Kremlin Yanukovych government, the same corrupt regime Ukrainians ousted during Maidan. When Yanukovych fled to Russia around February 24, 2014, his cabinet, including Burisma's CEO, joined him. By March, as Putin seized Crimea, where Burisma held gas fields, Hunter Biden's partner, Devon Archer, was meeting with Burisma in Moscow. Soon after, Burisma was paying millions to Vice President Biden's son, while the Obama-Biden administration stood by as Russia invaded Ukraine.
Pro-Russia troops surrounding Ukrainian bases.
In May 2019, the New York Times revealed Burisma's payments to Hunter Biden. A month later, Zelensky made one of those reporters his press secretary. In July, the Washington Post detailed Biden family dealings in Russia and Ukraine. 2 days later, Trump obliquely brought up Burisma on a call with Zelensky. Agreeing that Merkel was helping Putin, Trump and Zelensky seemed ready to cooperate, until two bureaucratic twin brothers intervened. More on that soon. But for now, one fact is clear.
Burisma is not Ukrainian.
Energy firm Burisma.
Ukraine helps Maga by exposing Washington deep state corruption.
Money, money, money.
Ukraine exposes Washington's corruption and lies. Many Americans, even well-educated ones, believe the U.S. government has poured billions into Ukraine.
It's not true! It's not true!
Most so-called Ukraine aid is just a valuation of old weapons being sent. And even then, Biden often withholds parts of what's been allocated. This creates a perfect storm of deception. Biden sends as little as possible to Ukraine, but makes it appear like he's doing much more.
As long as it takes.
As a result, Americans grow frustrated with Ukraine, wrongly believing it's costing them far more than it is. The truth? Biden won't let Ukraine win, and his actions are turning Americans against Ukraine. A well-armed freedom stops tyranny, and the global elite, including Biden, are doing their best to ensure Ukraine is not armed.
It's a rich man's world.
The Trump-Zelensky phone call was legitimate. 3 days before Trump and Zelensky spoke in 2019, the Washington Post ran a story about Joe Biden's son's work with an allegedly Ukrainian gas company. So was it not natural just days later for Trump to ask Zelensky about what he saw in the Washington Post? Yet two twin brothers born in Kyiv, working via the military at the White House, stopped Trump from asking the same questions, and it wasn't only the Post raising questions. Zelensky's new press secretary, Julia Mendel, had recently reported in the New York Times on Hunter Biden's profits from a Moscow-linked firm called Burisma. Trump had the right to threaten to withhold foreign aid, as Joe Biden himself had done 5 years earlier.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money.
And Trump actually gave Ukraine better support than Obama-Biden. In the call, Trump and Zelensky sounded ready to work together. The only interference came from Alex and Eugene Vindman. Eugene, now newly elected to Congress, and at least one unnamed colleague who used the call to impeach Trump, making it toxic for him to work with Zelensky. Why didn't the Vindmans want Trump and Zelensky working together? Why block an investigation into Biden family dealings with Russians in Ukraine? Why did these unelected officials think they had the right to determine U.S. policy? Bureaucrats who interfere in Ukraine's fight against the Kremlin's deep state tyranny, the Ukrainian people face another challenge. American elites with main character syndrome. Russia claims former State Department official Victoria Nuland was the mastermind behind Ukraine's 2014 revolution, The truth? Ukrainians rejected deals crafted by Nuland and others, standing firm until the corrupt regime fled to Moscow. Nuland opposed the revolution. The Vindman twins exposed a private Trump-Zelensky call while serving in the U.S. military. Their undemocratic actions turned Ukraine into a pawn. Just when Trump and Zelensky were on the verge of cooperating.
He walked into the party.
And Hunter Biden, his Burisma ties boost claims that President Biden aids Ukraine for personal gain. Hunter knows that's absurd. Burisma's pro-Russian CEO was an opponent of Ukraine's revolution of dignity. Unburdened by what has been pardoned, Hunter could say the truth. Burisma isn't Ukrainian. Will he? By refusing to admit that Ukraine's fight has nothing to do with them. These main character wannabes help the Kremlin's besmirch Ukraine. And lastly, let's remember this powerful moment at Notre Dame de Paris, a chance breaking through the veil.
With the world on fire by evil forces, with brave people in the Ukrainian trenches defending Western civilization, the heart of old Europe awoke at Notre Dame de Paris. Free people dream of higher things, while Putin and the Russians destroy. The French people have shown how to recover a heritage, just as the Ukrainian people have showed us how to fight for what is virtuous. In the trenches, the Ukrainians, whose capital city is dedicated to Saint Michael the Archangel, hold the line for Western civilization. In Notre Dame de Paris, leaders of the free world sang in Latin, that language that once united Europe. Sed libera nos a malo. Deliver us from evil. Deliver us from evil.
Joe. Little Joe Lindsley.
We invite you to follow our channel, the only American show reporting live from Ukraine every day.